Tasmadricha Samayajushi Dikshaha Yajnasya Sarve Kratavo Dakshinascha Samvatsarascha Jamanascha Lokaha Somo Yatra Pavate Yatra Suryaha Tasmadricha Samayajushi Dikshaha Yajnascha Sarve Kratavo Dakshinascha Samvatsarascha Yajamanascha Lokaha Somo Yatra Pavate Yatra Suryaha. He continues, from him again Brahman emerges Rik, Sama, Yaju, Veda, all the initiations, Dikshaha, all the yajnas, the sacrifices, which are all, what are the sacrifices? Kratavaha Dakshina, which are the ceremonial offerings, the various ceremonies, the various offerings, the various sacrifices. Samvatsarha, the years. Yajamanaha, who is the sacrificer, who is the performer. And the worlds purified by the sun and the moon. Somaha means the mind. Suryaha is the sun. Pavate lokaha, the worlds purified by the sun and the moon. Now, don't take it literally, please. But he's only saying all the things that have emerged. He's continuing. There is a striking parallel to the concept that we study on the Sunday classes as well. In the 10th chapter we are studying, there also we are learning about all the qualities that have emerged from Brahman. Those who come for the tomorrow's satsang also, you realize there is a similarity of thought. Okay, so he's saying that 3 Vedas have emerged from me. The 4th is left out because it was composed a little later. We find that mentioned many sections. So the Vedas, what do they contain? They contain the sacrificial rites. They contain the initiations, the ceremonies, the offerings which are made by the sacrificer, Yajamanaha. So all this, those who are performing these rituals, they understand this. They are able to relate to it. You and I may not go through this every day, all these ceremonies, offerings, rituals, sacrifices, all this we may not do. But he's only saying that, oh, that also is me. So when you start relating every exercise as Brahman, the opportunity is when you go through the exercise, you are reminded of Brahman. Since you and I don't go through it, we are not able to relate to these activities. So those days when they used to read the Vedas day in and day out, they are reminded, this also is Brahman. This also has emerged from me. So the sacrifices done on an auspicious time, it is to attain the worlds of the sun, the worlds purified by the sun, or the worlds purified by the moon. So the worlds purified by the moon are called the southern course, and the sun, the path of the sun, is called the northern course. Now, all of this, if it is sounding little, I know Haresh is completely tuned in. He's seriously taking notes. He understands every word of it little more than the Guru itself. Nobody is taking notes except Haresh. I don't know what notes he's taking. Everybody has put their pen down, Haresh. You see, you're only one taking notes. So that's why I had to ask you.
This is the total opposite, Guruji, what you say.
See, you know, and I know what I meant. So, see, so now can you see, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I can relate to it. Coming from the world you are in, or from where you come from, or for most of us, or at least some of us, these terms may sound very alien to us, isn't it?
Yes.
We don't come across these terms unless you study these textbooks. Other than that, it is very non-familiar, isn't it? But can you imagine? You have to relate. You have to put yourself in their shoes. Whose shoes? Put yourself in the situation of the guru and the shishya, where there's a conversation happening between them. And why is the guru telling this to them? Why is the guru telling all these to the student? Because the students or people at that era were very familiar with these terms, were used to these practices. They were involved during the doing these activities day in and day out. They would have performed a yajna every other weekend. They would have sacrificed. They would have performed ceremonies. They go through these practices. So when they are told of an activity that has emerged from Brahman, it is very natural that when they go through that activity as a ritual, they are reminded of Brahman while they do it. It's like the activities that you would do on a routine day in Hong Kong, Harish, the worlds that you experience every day. If somebody were to tell you that all that activities that you're doing there, they have emerged from Brahman, and you have to identify Brahman in doing them. Like when you take the ferry from Discovery Bay to Kowloon, if I were to say that has emerged from Brahman. So while you're taking that passage, think of Brahman. What would happen? Instantly you're able to relate, because you take that journey every day. You do that activity every day. Everything that you are experiencing has emerged from Brahman. So it's just an association of thought. That's all it is. Like, don't you associate an incense stick with spirituality? You don't associate fragrance with spirituality. Perfumes, do you associate with spirituality? You don't associate. There's a certain association of thought. When people blow a conch or ring a bell, you associate that sound with something spiritual. So why? It is association. Not that Brahman is not there beyond that. Brahman is there in every aspect. It's a substratum. Like they said, everything in the dream is the waker's mind. Everything in the world, good, bad, everything is supported by Brahman. But he's only talking of certain aspects so that you're able to relate to it, so that you can reach Brahman faster. That's the only objective. So if you're not able to relate to what the terms are, understand these are not your activities. So you'll have to think from the context of the text or the guru or the practitioner. So you're able to get into the, it's not the empty words. Now for you or for some, it may be empty words, but it is actually very deeply meaningful. You get it, Harish?
Yes. Yes.
If I don't clarify this, otherwise you say, what is this section? Seems to be very vague. You know, it's all a gray area. I can't relate to it. Not really. If you are able to look from that perspective, you will accommodate these sections. Otherwise, you switch off. So I'm only trying to explain so that you don't switch off. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. Great. Perfect, Harish. So the path of the moon is known as a southern course. The path of the sun is said to be the northern course. So the path of the moon is referred, philosophically, the path of the moon refers to those who pursue heavenly paths. So those who perform actions to reach that heavenly sojourn, it is said to be the path of the moon. Now, US, what is the path of the heaven called, the path of the moon called? Or what do you understand when you say the path of the moon or the path of the heaven?
You do punya.
All right. You do punya, or you accrue punya.
Accrue punya.
And how do you accrue punya?
You will get the
By
merits
switching
of
off your
that.
phone. If you keep your phone active, you'll acquire papa.
But I'm not answering.
Ama. At least
So,
for this 1 hour, don't be available for the world.
Yes.
Yes, ma. So the moon symbolizes,
The limited goals.
correct, those who pursue anything short of realization. And realization is only the path of the sun. So when they say the path of the sun or the allured worlds, which is the brighter worlds, which is the path of performing selfless actions, is only the nishkama karma. Kama is desire. Nishkama is desireless, selfless actions is the path to the sun. And the path of the sun is the path of the ultimate goal of trying to reach self-realization. So path of the moon is in fact said to be the path of darkness, where you are only trying to. So when you say limited goals, what do you understand?
It's for your, you will return. You after that. You don't get.
I'm not even talking. Yet, yes, you go through the path of the moon, you come back to the cycle of birth and death. Yes, but I'm not talking of that. But I'm only trying to help you clarify.
You do unselfish actions, but the other one is selfless action. Sun is selfless.
Sun is selfless. The moon is unselfish. But what do you mean limited goals? Can you give an example of limited goals?
Like it's not for self-realization. It's just you are doing good. It's a unselfish action, but there is no thought of self-realization.
Yes. But then what is a limited goal? You're saying what it is not, but I'm asking what it is. So that we were able to gain clarity what that means. You're right, you said it is, you accrue punya, you perform unselfish actions. These are the people who are subjected to cycle of rebirth. It is a path of darkness. All is right. It is the limited goals. But how do you justify limited goals to the path of the moon? Forget the path of the moon. What do you understand by limited goals? Give example. See, only when you question, that's when you understand how clear is your understanding. Okay. Arunama, any idea?
Hariyom Guruji.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I mean, what comes to my mind is limited goals and goals that are result oriented. So you do it with for a specific purpose in mind. Like goals that you do for the welfare of society, something. So actions that accrue good actions, unselfish actions. That's what I understood.
But why do you have to say result oriented?
Pardon, Guruji?
You said result oriented, didn't you?
Result oriented in the sense that when we do unselfish actions, we are not doing it for the higher self. We are still doing it for our own self. That means we want to enjoy the results of it, the heavenly actions, so that the punya and power, we are doing it for the merit of it. And that's what I understood. We're thinking about others and then putting others before us. Whereas selfless actions it's all done for the higher self. There's no good or bad. There's no punya or papa related to it.
That is understandable, that in the selfless there is no no merit or demerit. See, the higher goals means unselfish actions. When you say unselfish actions, they're all driven with an unselfish desire. So when you say the limited goals, it is desired in actions.
Yeah.
You get it? So
yes,
it has a desire. Only thing is, it is directed, as you said, to the larger good. That is when you accrue punya.
Yes.
Like if my example, if someone is running behind wealth, acquisition of wealth, you can acquire wealth for yourself, or you acquire wealth as a byproduct of working for others' well-being. That becomes yajna. So limited goal is you're advancing others' material well-being. So you are constantly acting, not to increase your personal asset, but you say, I am working to ensure that, let's say, my employees and their families are provided for. So that becomes a limited goal. The limited goal here is my organization's growth and benefit, so that my employees, their families are provided for, their children are as educated as they would wish to.
Okay.
So what is a limited goal is you're trying to work for their welfare and well-being. So I am working hard so that the industry, this organization, sales, not just sales, but it soars high so that they're all benefited. The end product of that is you will be rewarded, you will get benefited for your efforts, but you're not doing for that. You're working for the larger good. So what are you doing? You're worshipping goddess Lakshmi. So wealth has been divinized. So when you worship the path of the moon, you worship the gods. Remember, gods are plural. So limited goals refers to the gods. Gods are all desired. There is a specific desire. You want power, you want name, you want wealth, you want health. So there is each god or goddess associated with any of those underlying desire. So you go to Hanumanji, you go to Rama, you go here, you go there, for what? To gain that. So it is a desire in him. But only thing they're saying is you can gain power or name or fame or family or everything only for yourself. So to ensure that it doesn't get constricted, it doesn't get limited to yourself, they have introduced these limited goals or gods and goddesses to divinize your pursuit. So that when you start acting, remember, you don't act for your own well-being, act in the larger interest. So limited goals means conversion of your own desires. You're purifying your desires, converting your selfish desires into unselfish desires. That is limited goal. Don't we say, yes, the first thing one must do in the spiritual path is to conceive a goal. It's like before you start your journey, don't you need to have a destination? Oh, I'm going for a holiday. I want to escape the summer. I'm going for a holiday. Oh, very good, sir. The first question people ask you, where are you going? And if you don't have an answer, I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going to the airport. Huh? You go to the airport for what? You can't. There's no journey doesn't begin without a destination in mind. So your spiritual journey doesn't begin without having a clear goal in mind. What is it that you want to do? You get Agnama?
Yes, Guruji, very clear. Thank you.
Perfect. So the limited goals is the pursuit of worldly desires, but trying to do it for a larger good. But interestingly, it is still bound to the world. It is still worldly. Hardly anybody you can, amongst us, the few of us, how many are seeking the path of the sun? I'm not sitting in judgment and being accommodative or dismissive. I'm only trying to say how many are attuned to the path of the sun, how many are caught up in the path of the moon. Though no doubt you have to move from the path of the moon to the path of the sun, but you must understand that you can perform all these ceremonies and sacrifices. All of this can be done for Brahman also, not without any gain. No phalakama, there is no fruit. There is no obvious fruit that you are seeking. All that you seek is Brahman. Okay. So you set the course with the knowledge of the self, which is contained in the Vedas. So you tap the reference to the Rik, Sama, Yajurveda. You set the course of your action by drawing out the knowledge which is contained in the Vedas to reach enlightenment, which is the path of the sun. See, nowhere else other than the Vedas they talk of Brahman. So you have to attune to Brahman only through the Vedas. And once, as I've said, once that the goal of Brahman is not just planted but pounded. Every time you come to these satsangs, the thought of Brahman gets pounded into your heads. You like it or not. Now, hereafter, rest of the week, what you do, you may dehypnotize the Brahman with the world. That's what you're doing. What, UK? You are dehypnotizing and undoing all that we do on the weekend, the weekdays. Every other thought other than Brahman is being entertained. Correct? Huh?
Yes, Guruji.
Yo. Yes, solring enama.
Only sometimes you bring it back and try to.
Only sometimes, sir.
It happens, Guruji. You are caught in the world.
So you forget Guruji, you forget
No,
the satsang,
that's
you
what
forget the founder. Everything is forgotten.
It's not forgotten. You're just caught in that web.
You just exist. You know you're existing, but then I don't remember you. That's what, huh?
You try to do something, Guruji, but it's not a consistent effort and a consistent. It's the problem.
That's where it is, isn't it? So the more one puts the effort to pound this thought of Brahman within us.
Yes, Guruji.
Then it starts percolating in every activity. It starts
Yes.
expressing in every
Yes.
activity. Perfect. Right, Ma.